1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
Yo, Eddie, man, you got it?
I got it. I got it. Yeah. Come on. What you want, girl? What you need, girl? Girl, what you want? What you need? Don't you hear me, girl? Come into my world, stay ahead. Yeah, won't you come along for the ride tonight? I need love in my eye, surprise. Believe me, we're gonna do it right. 'Cause I got it, 'Cause I got it. What you want? I know I got it. What you need? I know I got it, girl. What you want? What you need?
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. You were locked in with Joel Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, your front row seat to the culture. This is where we break down the headlines with a little sass, a lot of facts, and a vibe that always hits. And I'm assuming, because it is the birthday of the great Eddie Murphy, that this is one of his singles? Is this one of his singles, Andy?
Do you not know this song?
I have no clue what this is.
So the name of this song is I Got It,
Okay.
off of his album entitled So Happy.
The 80s one?
Yeah,
The one that had Party All the Time on it?
absolutely.
Okay.
And this movie was, this song was featured in Coming to America when him and Semi was walking into the club. This song was in the background.
Oh, my name is Peaches and okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So in honor of his birthday, instead of playing Party All the Time, I decided to play this song right here. So shout out Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie Murphy. I told you when I went to Greece, Party All the Time was big in all the clubs over there. They had remixes, re-artists. I couldn't understand it. This was not too many years ago. Shout out to Eddie. So tonight, you know, as always, we are going to get into all the trending topics, all the headlines of the day, from the courtroom to the clapbacks. I've got you covered, you know, like edges on wash day. So tonight we're going to peel back the layers on Tasha Smith's emotional conversation with Tamron Hall. She talked about her femininity. She talked about how she utilizes the masculine aspects of her personality. And we're going to get into that because, you know, there's a lot of conversation at times about Black women and their femininity and how they express it and why they have an edge to them at times. So Tasha's discussing it for her, and we're going to expand on her thoughts. We're also going to get into Drake scored a legal victory in his suit against UMG, but he may have also sparked up, per usual, another one against himself. And we're going to talk a little Meghan Markle. She is proving that she might just be the Black Martha Stewart. You know, we're going to get into some things that are popping off for her. But first, we're going to get into what had the timeline lit today with a couple of conversation starters. So Tupac's estate has been hit with a $5 million lawsuit from Dr. Khalid Muhammad's estate. So, did you get that? One estate is suing another, meaning both of these individuals are deceased, right? So, it is a $5 million lawsuit alleging that Pac's 1996 song, White Man's World, which sampled a 1993 speech given at the Black Holocaust Nationhood Conference, was used without permission. My question is It took them 30 years to recognize this and then to attempt to rectify this. I don't know. It seems interesting. The speech's inclusion allegedly transformed the track, so they are saying, into a political weapon. And guess who's named in the suit? Of course, Tupac's estate, Suge Knight, currently in prison, Interscope, Death Row, currently owned by Snoop Dogg, Universal Publishing, and the producer, Big D. So according to them, it's not just about the art, it's about ownership. And of course, $5 million is a whole lot of money. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Again, 30 years is a lot of time to let pass before you raise these red flags or talk about it or make note of it. But we'll see what happens. And in other legal news, because, we've got a lot of that going on as of late, Jeffrey Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug, his probation has survived the DA's attempts to revoke it. So he just got another W as far as legal victories. He posted an image of Fulton County investigator Melyssa Videret. I might be saying her last name wrong. Apologies, but she's a Fulton County investigator. And the caption was, "Biggest liar in the DA's office." DA Fannie Willis tried to argue that it was a direct threat to legal proceedings. Thug deleted it, posted a clarification, and he was brought back into court. But Judge Whitaker wasn't having it. He said no revocation of his probation. He's still on probation. Out, and we'll have to see, what further develops. However, I would say just stop. I know it's a setup kind of because he is on that leash for a very, very, very long time, but this is a small thing. You don't have to get in their eyes on that. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. This Tasha Smith femininity topic, all that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting. On Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominic DePrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up. And we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting Town Hall. Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign-up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. This is a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you've struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance medications, so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelty, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelty helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelty and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So before we get into the trending topics, if at any point you want to join this conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. Of course, I'm at Stiletto Jill. Holla at me, say hi, slide in my DMs and let me know what you're thinking about. And while you're at it, get the app, all of the good things. So listen, Tasha Smith, she talked about getting real and healing her inner girl, so to speak, as a pathway to opening up her femininity. She appeared on the Tamron Hall show, the actress and director, don't leave that part out. And the conversation was raw. She left no stone unturned, really. She talked about being raised in Camden by a single mom. Tasha's a twin, in case you weren't aware. She has a twin sister named Sidra. I'm sure you guys have seen the video floating around the internet that has been, of Jada, and I think it was Sidra back in the day at maybe it was Tisha Campbell's wedding. I can't remember. It was someone's wedding they were all there for. But they have twins. But Tasha revealed that she used to carry lighter fluid, matches, and a hammer in her bag when she was a teen for protection. So she spoke about how growing up without a father shaped her into a hyper-independent woman. She said she had to be the man, the woman, the cousin, the uncle, everything. And that masculine armor followed her into adulthood and especially relationships. So let's hear a little bit about what she had to say about that.
I honestly feel like tapping into our feminine energy is embracing our uniqueness as women, because I believe that we are designed by God. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I got something else for you. Our uniqueness, if we allow ourselves to embrace that, and that is part of our femininity, that is our superpower. That is what imagine if we just embraced who we are, because I have the feminine, but it's also mixed with a little masculine.
But is that a bad thing?
Right. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's who I am. It's what God designed me to be. It works as a director. It works as a teacher. It gives me great leadership ability. It gives me boldness and fearlessness. And that is part of who I am. And to be honest, if I tried to act like I'm a girly girl, but not, you know what I'm saying? Right? And if I tried to act like I was, I don't feel I would be walking in my superpower. I feel like my mixture of masculinity and femininity is my power. And if I walk in that, I can't be denied.
That is so, listen, and I feel like you've been this way since day one. I met your twin Sidra first up in Harlem one crazy night that I'll write in my book. But there we were, and I look at childhood photos of you. You were kind of the director of the what you said.
Who you think I am? Which one is
with
me?
With the hands on the hip.
Of course it is. And can I tell you about that? Like, there was a time where I had this insecurity where I felt like I was too loud, I was too this, I was too that, right? And my sister had shared that photo with me, and I said, look at this. I had to be, like 3, 4, something, 2, 3, 4, I don't know. But I tell you one thing, honey, I still got my hands on my hips, I'll tell you that.
So I think that what she had to say was important, because we have that debate a lot about what makes a feminine woman, where is she resting at in her femininity, what marks masculinity. And sometimes people just are. And all of our circumstance, all of our environment, all of the things that we've been exposed to shape who we ultimately are. And with that, we develop our personas, and, it's the right balance. Now, the loud thing, subjective in some rooms, perhaps. In some rooms, she might fit right in. But I think it's all about finding your community, your comfort, and being comfortable in herself. That is one of the things that I do admire about seemingly Gen Z and, maybe younger millennials, is the seemingly acceptance of people where they're at least right now. We got to work on giving people room to grow, because people do grow and evolve. But accepting that sometimes things aren't going to come in a nice, neat package, especially when it comes to kind of roles and how things shape out, I think is important. And that's not to say that men shouldn't lead and all of those things and all of the things that make us great, but also understanding that within those frameworks, there's lots of ways how that thing can break down and come together and work, depending upon personality types, individuals, things of that nature. A woman might not like to cook. A man might chef it up in the kitchen. That could be his release. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is perfectly okay for them. It doesn't mean that she is not a good candidate for a wife or future or things of that nature, that in the past we've been pretty rigid on the standards that make people a good man or a good woman. Andy?
Ladies, us men like to cook and clean.
Listen, we love to hear that. Love it.
It's a therapeutic thing. I'm going to speak for myself, but it's definitely therapeutic.
I hear that a lot. People say that a lot about cleaning, like, the methodical nature of it, going over, making sure you get in the little crevices and whatever. It's a release of sort.
In a lot of ways, too, it's an intimate thing, right? Like cleaning, specifically like laundry, right? It's an intimate thing. You know what I'm saying? It's you in your clothes. But I also think, like, speaking for myself, it's a time to, be alone. You know what I'm saying? It's that moment of being still. I've been hearing that a lot lately, right? Especially like with everything that's going on in the world, social media, it's just a lot of stuff, right? Sometimes you just need to decompress and just kind of chill. And, those moments of, me cooking or cleaning and stuff like that, it's a moment to be still and just kind of just, be within myself.
It might be another version of meditation for you. See? So there you go. So I thought that it was an important message. Tasha said it took her some time, as she mentioned a little bit in the clip, to become comfortable in that, because especially when you are in a front-facing career like on camera in Hollywood, and even sliding over into the director's chair as a Black woman, there are definitely moments where you're going to question yourself or come up against what people believe you should be out in the world, so more power to Tasha. Yay for therapy and self-work and, embracing her superpower.
So, like, being a boss as a woman, is she kind of saying, or do you feel that, you kind of have to step into that quote unquote masculine energy, being a boss? You know what I mean?
I think so, because, there are many ways to lead, right? And that's what some of boss energy is. So it doesn't necessarily mean iron fist, absolute, but it does mean a certain amount of directness in certain situations. It means a certain amount of discipline. It means that your behavior is going to be examined and mirrored. So there are certain traits that some might consider more masculine, because women are taught to be nurturing, to be more understanding, to be more catering, right? And in some situations, when you are being a boss, quote unquote, there's room for that. I'm not saying there's no room for empathy or sympathy, but sometimes there's not room for the soft touch that we equate with what is womanhood, so to speak. So those are my thoughts on that. Boss babes is that even still a thing, since we are moving and changing off of some of our the things that we have built up on social media through the past couple of years? I feel like there's a change as far as energy and influencers and stuff. What, Andy? Why are you laughing?
You said boss babes. That was like 2000 lingo.
Maybe
even
whatever
99, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
It's the hotties now, I guess.
It's the boss hottie? No. I mean, really, I wanted to say the other word, but FCC Airwaves here.
Oh, the boss bees?
Yeah. So, but I just said babes.
I still hear that from time to time. I got you.
Right? Hello, we are on the airwaves.
Boss babes threw me off.
Right. I'm just saying, trying to keep it light. No dings. Speaking of dings, judgments, Law and Order, clank clank, here we come. Hold on. We got to get it off. Maybe I should designate Thursdays as Law and Order Thursdays, and we get all the law stories off.
I thought we talked about that already.
We did talk about that, but I couldn't remember if I officially picked a day. I knew there was a day, but it's going to be Thursdays.
Okay.
And we already started off with Young Thug a little bit. So now we're going to get into Drake. We know that Drake has this ongoing battle with UMG. He's taken some dings in the suit, but recently he's taken a win, so to speak. So a judge has said that UMG cannot block discovery in the Drake versus UMG case. In the latest twist, right, Universal Music Group tried to stop discovery in Drake's defamation lawsuit tied to Not Like Us, but the judge, Jeanette Vargas, said, nah, run those receipts. So what that means is Drake's legal team can now request documents UMG calls highly commercially sensitive. Think record deals, think artist contracts, maybe even Kendrick's business tea. This might get really ugly really fast, but it's all in the name of discovery to see how they were utilizing the budget for Kendrick's promotion for the song, right? Tricky. So we'll have to see how that all unfolds, but I mean, I'm sure we're going to hear some details of what's going on in those receipts in Drake's raps one day or something like that, should it make it that far. But again, we know he dropped music. People are feeling Nokia. It's bumping out, but it does feel kind of muted for a Drake song in a sense. I don't know. It doesn't feel as big as maybe it would have been a year or so ago. I don't know if that's Kendrick. I don't know if that's his war with UMG. I'm not saying the people aren't feeling it. It's a hit song, but something does feel different in the energy. Andy?
Okay, two things. Number one, okay, you find out that UMG was conspiring against you. Does that mean you win the battle?
He wants money though, and I guess out, right? This is about coins at this point.
Okay, you get the money. Number two, where did this Nokia song drop? Was this off the collaboration with him and Party?
Sexy songs for you, the Valentine's Day thing.
Interesting, because I did listen to that album, and I can't even say I remember the song.
I remember Nokia. I remember it's like the club thing. It came later.
Okay.
But I definitely remember it.
I guess to that point, there might be some sort of maybe silencing from that song because I don't hear it on the radio. Not that I even listen to the radio, but the times that I do listen to the radio, or maybe I'm just out of touch.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
You feel me?
That's why
I listen to
you're not
KBLA.
hearing the radio, right?
But even on YouTube, it's not a recommended video or anything like that.
Well, I know he just recently dropped some type of visuals for it. I haven't checked it out yet. I saw Kai Cenat went on a tangent about it, but I'm not his audience, so I don't know what he said. But it feels like I see people talking about it. I personally like the song, but it does feel a little muted for a Drake hit, I'm
gonna have to give that to you. I agree.
So, and in other connectivity to Drake, Melyssa Ford is looking for her check, Drake. So let's talk about Merchgate. Drake dropped some sexy songs for you, him and Party Next Door, right? And he shouted out OG Video Vixen, current Joe Budden podcast member, Melyssa Ford, on the track Give Me a Hug, which was cute, right? Said, Melyssa Ford, you a legend, right? Now, when she woke up and saw her face on a hoodie for sale on Drake's website with no heads up, no contract, and definitely no bag, she hit up on the Joe Budden podcast. She didn't hold back. She was like, where's my effing check? Right? She even suggested she might own the image that he used from one of her old calendars. And she said she slid into Drake's DMs to address it directly, but no word yet on whether he's paying up. This might go from give me a hug to give me a lawyer. You know, Drake is real non-caring when it comes to using people's images without their permission or, you know, in advance to it. In the case of when he did that with Halle Berry for the Slime single, he bought the image rights from Getty. So he didn't, even though it was her, he didn't need her permission. With this Melyssa Ford image, if she owns the image and he's selling it, game over. He will owe her some money. So it'll be interesting to see how, when, if this plays out. Is Drake doing this to get in contact? Because, you know, he does stuff like this to get in contact with Melyssa, to kind of get at Joe. Things like that. Melyssa and Drake did date for a minute. So, you know, there's all types of subtext going on there. We'll have to see what happens with that. Well, when we come forward, we're going to get into Meghan Markle and her exploding brand, as well as, you know, Anthony Edwards has all the paternity tea popping right now with what's going on with his cases with 2, potentially 3, of his kids' moms. Well, one of the kids' moms, the one that also has a child with little baby, she's spoken out. And let me just give you a clue as to what her statement is. Brokey. We'll get into that when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I got it, girl. What you want, what you need, yeah. What you want, I know I got it. What you need, I know I got it, girl. What you want, what you need, what you want, what you want.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Wall Street is closing sharply lower after President Trump announced new global tariffs. The S&P 500 dropped 5%, its worst day since 2022, as a 10% tariff takes effect Saturday. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all saw major losses. The University of Michigan Alumni Association will fund scholarships for more than 300 underrepresented students after the Lead Scholars Program was cut due to Trump-era guidance targeting DEI efforts. Rapper Young Thug's probation is at risk after prosecutors claim he posted a photo of a DA investigator. They've asked the judge to revoke it. He denies any threats, saying he's a good person. And Black Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott is announcing the spring cleanup and day of service for Saturday, April 26th. Residents and groups are encouraged to register to help beautify neighborhoods. Volunteers can receive free trash bags to support the effort. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Downtown LA, it's a crash reported 101 northbound at the Alameda on-ramp, but that drive is going to be tough anyway. Overall slowing, loading up out of Agora Hills, getting away from Liberty Canyon Road. It's tough in DeVore. It's a stall. 215 northbound at Palm Avenue, right lane's blocked. Delays pushing back all the way from University Parkway. Let's also take a look at Santa Clarita with a wreck on the 14 northbound at Golden Valley Road. And this one's being cleared out of the right lane with a very slow drive off of the 5 freeway and backing up in Diamond Bar. Stalled Big Rig, 57 northbound Brea Canyon Road. Delays, well, it's again looking pretty slow away from Ball Road out of Anaheim.
Since the dawn of baseball, countless players have heard the call of destiny. Witness the heroes of the game in ballparks nationwide. Get your tickets today at MLB.com/tickets. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The awards continue to add up for USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins. Thursday morning, the sophomore from Compton was named the Associated Press Player of the Year. Watkins was almost a unanimous selection. She received 29 of the 31 votes from a panel of media members. Watkins is only the fourth sophomore to win the honor since AP created the award in 1995. Watkins has had a major impact on the USC program in just 2 years. Before she arrived on the USC campus in 2023, the average attendance at the Galen Center was just over 1,000. Average attendance for home games this season was 5,932. The Lakers play Golden State tonight at Crypto.com. Important game for both teams. The Lakers are third in the Western Conference. Golden State is fifth. Both teams are trying to stay among the top six to automatically qualify for the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You down, babe, you supposed to drown. You ain't up with no balls, I turned you out. You won't catch me in no shark boots, I burnt them out. Gotta wait till their birthday to go out.
Yeah, I got my twin with me, you know what we doing. 20 black Suburbans with we go. 2 lambs, 4 Billy trucks, and 20 Hellcats. Get on with a real
When a real one holds you down, babe, you supposed to drown. You ain't up with no balls, I turned you out. You won't catch me in no shark boots, I burnt them out. Gotta wait till their birthday to go out of town. Broke it, yeah,
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Joe Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, we're hitting these entertainment topics, trending headlines, and what's been burning up the timeline today. That's Lotto. Shouting out all the brokies. And, of course, Andy's always on theme. We're going to get to what that correlates to shortly. What's so funny, Andy?
You said that with some emphasis.
Broke. I find that hilarious. Seriously, that is just hilarious to me. Like, how is that the hook on your song? It's so funny.
It's the ladies' anthem, I'm sure.
I mean, really, you know what I liken it to? It's like when, what was that, 98 or something, when No Scrubs dropped? It's probably the same type of vibe. Just,
I'm with you.
Brokey.
I'm with you. Shout out to
Funny
Sporty
to me.
Thieves, though. They hit y'all with a, little
Yeah,
comeback.
yeah,
No
whatever. Nobody's paying attention to them. Still scruffy. Where are they now? What happened?
You're right.
Exactly.
We had to get back at y'all, though.
Nobody's craving. Let's see this Sporty Thieves. Let's have them run that back real quick.
No.
It was funny, though. It hit for a minute. Real quick. But as always, the queens, ding, got the final laugh. Not just kidding. So listen, speaking of the queens getting the final laugh, Meghan Markle, we know that her Netflix series has done numbers. The ladies are into gardening and hosting and putting together cute kitchens. Me too. I love it. I love a good curated little breakfast situation. I love a good packaging and gifting thing. So Meghan naturally launched a brand in connection with Netflix, because how are you going to make all the money and Netflix not get some of the coin? It's almost like a record deal, a 360 record deal. Not quite. I'm being facetious, but similar in that Netflix is getting a cut of the line that's developed out of it. Now, it is jams and spreads, honey, all of these type of things, herbal teas, flower sprinkles. You sprinkle the florals on your food to give an edible and beautiful touch of nature to it, and like a croissant mix and something else. And the prices range from $12 to $28. They went on sale at 9 a.m. Eastern time and sold out within an hour. You guys hit it and hit it hard. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, the brand was first teased in her Netflix series With Love, Meghan. And it's inspired by her passion for cooking and entertaining. And it's low-key giving bougie goop vibes, an extended B. Smith style. I don't know if the youngins remember B. Smith style, but she was a Black tastemaker, home interior decorator, design, and cook. She was very popular in the 90s. She had a book series. Really, the last parts of her life actually are really kind of tragic. I can't remember what illness took over her, but I believe she developed a type of dementia where she couldn't take care of herself. And her husband, she was left in his care, but they had separated and he had moved on to someone else, and just all of these things. It was really rather sad, but she was an icon. So look her up, B. Smith style. Amazing taste, amazing books, amazing vibes. And, Meghan is giving us that sweetness, that little touch of nature that we all, or some of us do, endure. I will say one thing, say what you want about Meghan. She knows how to sell a brand, and the ladies are loving it. So we'll have to see what else comes from the happy little lifestyle brand. Like I said, I $28 though for honey. I don't know if it's quite that much, but it's up there. Honey is so expensive and so good, but it's honey. You're supposed to be, I guess, what the coppers in honey, like what are the things, the benefits of it? I still $28 for honey seems crazy to me though. But shout out to Meghan. We'll have to see what's coming next, And then shout out to the forebears of like that. Aisha Curry, she has her homemaker line doing her thing. There's lots of others out there. So, I think it's a good area for us to take up space in, because in theory, entertaining, that type of sweet thing details, though not the greatest and most important thing in the grand scheme of things, especially currently now. It's still something sweet, and I like the idea of making the house more homely or intimate gatherings and all of that. So, yeah, and it's about to be summer, so of course you want to get ready for your little outings and stuff. All right, so Aisha Howard, that is Anthony Edwards' latest child's mother, right? She also has a child with rapper Lil Baby. Aisha's 38 years old, and she recently posted an Instagram live, right? She went off, and she said she is tired of being called a gold digger. She is tired of people saying that she kept her child for a check, and she went in for the clapback. She said, and I'm just going to give you bits and pieces, of course. Y'all had babies for the weed man, not me. She didn't stop there. She was dragging people for filth. She was like, y'all over there on Section 8, waiting for your tax check, broken priorities. You had a baby with the scammer. You waiting for him. Don't blame me because I have taste and I attract a certain caliber of men. You know, she was like, I read the comments. And, you know, she said, I could come to y'all page and look at y'all men and say what you chose to have kids with. I could say you were digging for poverty. She didn't stop there, right? She said it's double standards because she said you guys aren't going to Anthony's page and questioning him about his activities and certain things, right? He's allergic to latex? I guess so, right? Perhaps, maybe, perhaps. She says when it comes to how people view women with children, they always have extreme animosity. She said, you kept your baby for an income tax credit or a couple of $100 in food stamps, or was that an extra Section 8 voucher, right? So she's saying she doesn't appreciate strangers projecting their personal experiences onto her life. And she said, that dude that's robbing everybody, you had a baby with him or the booster. How are you telling me what I should be doing and how to live my life? So there's a lot there. She's probably not wrong in some instances. And, you know, my only thing in all of this with both sides is that your kids are going to read about this someday. And if they don't, their classmates will, and will let them know exactly what you said about the other parent, each other, and that child. So just consider that. That's it. That is all. Consider that. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics, more headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to AudienHearing.com. That's AUDIEN Hearing.com.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cow Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Let's get to some of these comments in the YouTube chat. DJ Black 909 says, going back to yesterday's topic of Damon Wayans, does anyone remember this? Damon, now that you've made $13 million and we're not counting, is there racism in America? I remember that was from his comedy special. It was a joke. He talked about being interviewed, and it was funny. If I'm remembering it correctly, I believe it was that was one of the jokes he laid in his comedy special. Pretty Brown Mimi says, Meghan Markle reminds me of the late great model, restaurateur, lifestyle media mogul B. Smith. She agrees. She says, Black women, our moms, grandmothers, aunties have been growing gardens, planting trees, making tables, fabulous, fresh grown foods for generations. Meghan Markle reminds me of B. Smith. And sometimes this is about Tasha. Sometimes we as Black women, we have to be feminine and masculine simultaneously because sometimes our men haven't always been there for us. So that's Pretty Brown Mimi's thoughts on what Tasha Smith said, admitting that, you know, her not having a father affected how she chose to protect herself and move in the world. So, listen, you got Kanye, of course. Gotta have a little Kanye update because he's still out there grasping for attention, grasping for straws. Kind of didn't work with the academics interviewing the Black Ku Klux Klan sort of ensemble. I thought about the fact that he did, I believe, release Bully, but didn't he get his DSP pulled? I don't even know. I haven't heard anyone talking about the singles. Maybe he didn't drop it. We know he's saying he regrets having kids with Kim and all of the things. Well, he indicates in one of his songs that his wife, Bianca, has finally left him and that it apparently is the fallout from the Grammy stunt. And they're saying, allegedly, right, that she did attempt to try and have him get some help, maybe be committed a little bit, and not to her. I mean, committed to, you know, talk to some people, work some things out. But he is saying that she left him. So who knows if this is more stunts and shows from Ye, because we know he does it a lot. Bill Bellamy and Damon Wayans spoke out about Kanye, and both are saying, one, clearly he has no family members in his life, no uncle or cousin or auntie that can sit him down, you know, talk to him like, boy, sit down, you know, just real talk around him. Clearly, you're dealing with some mental illness. And Damon Wayans likened it to when you pass someone, an unhoused person on the street, and they are yelling out crazy things or saying stuff. You don't take what they're saying for gospel. You don't lean into it. You recognize that they are going through something, and you keep your day moving or whatever the case may be. But he thinks that people need to take more of that approach with Kanye. And I do, like, it stunts and shows. It is the highest form of trying to make an attention-grabbing moment happen. And the thing that's so crazy is we know he has the music. He know he has the talent. Why is he resorting to this? And the only thing that you can point to has to be his illness, because realistically, I know he's fighting with, he feels like the clamps, the handcuffs are sort of put on him creatively. But what really is the problem, Kanye? What's the problem? Andy?
I mean, I just think it's some mental issues. Like I said, several times. I think after, his mom passed, I don't think he, got the proper way to mourn. He just kind of been working constantly. And this is a crash out.
So, I mean, and I asked this question with love and with total understanding, right? Knowing that there isn't a proper time to put on mourning a loved one. However, within that construct, how much grace do you give someone? Because it's been close to 20 years at this point.
Low key, I think the grace is starting to be shown in the sense that this academics interview did not blow up.
Yeah.
I think, once we start kind of giving power to his antics, when he starts to do things and it's not hitting like it was beforehand, I think it might be working.
Well, I hope so. So I'm going to tease this topic, and we'll probably get more into it tomorrow, but I thought it was worth mentioning. There's a conversation that was started by Ebro and Nadeska and one other individual about Doja Cat. And it was on their podcast. And so the gentleman, and forgive me for not remembering his name, said that although Doja has lyrics, can rap, can flow, he doesn't consider her hip hop. He doesn't really think that she is really of the culture. Even though there are old videos of her breakdancing, and we know she's been flowing and doing that for years, we do know she has a pop side, which she denounced and basically said she didn't like. And she also has a kind of alternative vibe to her. So, and Doja responded back to this critiques on X, of course, with a tweet and delete. But Andy, I want to ask you, because we talk about this a lot, and this is why I say in some ways there should be genres inside of hip hop, but I don't know if that's too watered or commercialized for people to really grasp. But do you take, if people make hip hop as an art form, do you take them out if you feel like they aren't really of the culture? And using Doja as an example.
How is she not of the culture?
They feel like, she was in the chat room showing her feet. We know she likes to date, guys that we wouldn't. Now, nobody, again, says that the men aren't hip hop when they go and date, their foreign exoticals or whatever. But for a woman, people talk about Eve all the time. We remember the table when she was sitting around with her family. I think that was at Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever holiday that was. So, we do have things where we say, okay, I feel like this person is kind of hip hop, but not really. Mm-hmm. But we really kind of put those cloaks on others. Like we talk about it maybe with DJ Khaled or Post Malone or some things like that. Or maybe even with a Donald Glover, but not really. Mm-hmm. But would you put some strikes on Doja because she is not of the culture per se?
I disagree with that statement. I think she is of the culture. The culture rocks with her.
Right.
I think there might be some people who are very critical when it comes to music and make those statements. I think simply because she did kind of come off poppy at first, right? I actually listened to like her most recent album, and I honestly thought that it was probably the hardest hip hop album out. Because she was spitting bars,
rapping,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think she also does dabble in the poppy type music, so people don't look at her as hip hop. So I mean, it's 2025, and you know, these artists are genreless. I push back on the notion that she's not of the culture. I do think that she is of the culture, even with the whole Eve situation, taking a picture with all those people. That she's still of the culture. You know, I mean, we can't box ourselves in. You know what I'm saying? I think she's a dope artist. I think she's of the culture. I think her last album was dope. And that's that on that one.
That's that. I'm a big Doja fan, so you know I'm gonna rock with her. I appreciate her, but everybody's entitled to their own ear. Whether their ear is tin or gold remains to be seen, but we'll see. Well, that's a wrap for tonight's ride through the culture. Make sure that you are locked in each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to get your updates, trending topics, and headlines with me, Jill Munroe. And coming up next, of course, is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Stay tapped in, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Kissing and hope they cut us. Whether they